Hello, people. It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Moriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my lovely co-hosts, YK, Numi Inoue. That's how we greet in Lagos.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes.
And you?
Inumi Inoue.
I don't know which style this new one.
She's a Lagosian,
I'm a Lagosian,
so
that's
she
how
has
I
to
It's not
use.
a Lagosian.
She
Both my
is.
parents are, both my parents are from Lagos. I have
It's
no
a
brothers.
Lego. Hey?
My father is from Tokumbo, so there's no...
Okay, okay. My
Yes.
own grandfather was from Lagos. My mother's father, not my. We know my father is from Ogun.
Yeah. How are you doing, though?
I'm fine, you know.
Very
I
bright.
enjoyed the holiday. I just used it to what do you call bond with my partner. I just bonded for the whole weekend.
As in, who is this camera guy? This is so.
Head to toe,
As in,
orange and blue.
they took you
Yes,
from.
now I told them that they have to take that. They have to grab this is your
Grab
nice
the shoes, the nice
So
skin.
how do you match these things? You just go to the supermarket, you buy shoes,
No,
and I said you go to the store. That says not supermarket.
She has.
How? How do you match it?
It just happens. I've had these shoes for about 3 years. The suits a few months.
Okay.
And I wanted to wear the suit, and I was thinking, I didn't want to wear it with white or. And I just realized, look, you have those orange and
Blue shoes. That's a good combo.
And you have an orange inner top. Yeah, match the two
Papa,
together.
Fantastic.
So she gets inspiration from everywhere.
That's nice.
Voila,
So
yes.
that's
You,
how
you can
just
get inspiration from birds
All right.
flying in the sky.
Okay, let's move on to neon pink, madam. How you
because
doing?
I was going to wear black and neon pink and blue shoes to match my dress. But I
dresses
thought
that?
about it that it will be with my jacket. It will be an overkill. So you just look at what are you wearing, what will match the earrings, the feathers, my bangle, and then black wristwatch to match the dress. It's so easy. Mario, we must thank our vice presidents, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who has redeemed the image of Nigerians.
How?
And told Ghanaians and Senegalese to go and find a seat. Nigerian jollof rice is the best.
Oh, please don't go there. Please just don't go there.
Yeah, I
beg.
watched it too.
Please,
I was
I-
talking at the platform yesterday.
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
There was no need
I mean-
because
No,
really,
Tope,
He
It
talked
was-
about Ajay Kunya and New Jay.
that a Nigerian senator has released a musical CD.
please, I have my own gist, plenty gist, Steph. Because I wasn't here yesterday, so I had a very good event yesterday. I want to thank everybody that showed up. Thank you so much for coming. But
That's
You didn't invite us.
that's
you
a
know,
matter.
the truth of the matter is that I realize that prophets don't get appreciated within their community. So
So you're a
let's
prophet?
wait for the glorification. Once the glorification takes place, people would see, and then it's easier to believe. But when it's close to you, you just feel like, I got that reaction when I spoke to some people really close to me, and I felt, I won't let you, I'm going to do what I want to do. And when you see how successful it is, then maybe you would curiously want to know what is going on. But I'm thankful for that. But, you know, we're marking Lagos at 50. This is the month. This is my birth month. I'm excited. And I have two
my birth
suggestions.
month too.
Yeah. I have two suggestions. We've been seeing Lagos story all over. And people are saying, oh, put us in the story. Don't put us in the story. This person should be there. Other person should be there. I think that Lagos State should make it open for a portal where all of us can say our own Lagos story and inspire people. So I'll share my own. Mariah can share her own. Anybody outside can go to the portal, put their picture up, and create their own flyer, post it on Facebook, and share their Lagos story. And all of us will be able to.
Right.
Commissioner of Information, you have his number. Suggest it to him.
I don't need
directly.
to. I can. They are watching. I don't need to. There's no need.
I don't think you need that publicity.
All right. That is interesting to hear. Thanks for the suggestion. I'm sure they've heard you.
And they should carry it out. There's no need.
Yeah, I have to run off now. I never have time because everybody has something
And
to
you
do.
had an interesting week.
Yes, I did, but unfortunately, I can't share. Let's take a
you,
break now.
you talk too much.
No, it wasn't me. It was Jumoke's gist
All of you talk
about
too much. Let's take a
Professor
break. When we
Shibaju.
come back,
And your pink.
we'll look
pink.
at the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Yes, welcome back. We're going to start with the punch. Man, SCSOs disagree as workers disrupt Abuja May Day rally. Labour protests Buhari Osinbajo's absence from Eagle Square. Obaseki Lalong Magu asks workers to become whistleblowers.
Hmm.
Picture here of members of the
that's
Nigerian Labour Congress at the, I think, Eagle Square in Abuja. World Bank blames Nigeria's forex crisis on fixed exchange regime. Prophet arrested for collecting 70 million naira. 3 houses to cure fibroid.
Baby.
3 soldiers, 15 militants killed in Ondo Creek's gunfight. Buhari's sickness taking its toll on Nigeria's health, says Akonde. Jonathan's wanted aid being protected by federal government agency, says DSS. And NCAA suspends crew member for testing positive for marijuana. Right, let's take the human angle. The prophet, who has that story?
And there are many interesting stories, but this one is interesting.
The prophet story.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
His name?
His name is Oladele,
Yeah.
and he's 45.
Yeah.
And he had started, the lady had fibroid problems.
For
and
14 years.
14 years, and she was bleeding constantly.
Right.
So a friend of hers now directed her to this, or introduced her to the prophet.
Right.
After
Olade-
her doctor had told her she needed to remove her womb.
Her womb,
Right.
yeah. And then the guy now gave her some concoction, cost her 98,000
naira.
at that time. And then she took the concoction and the bleeding stopped for 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks now, she went back because it was like a miracle. The thing that had been worrying her, she now went back. Joe,
Has come back.
I've come back. Okay, you have to now give me, go and build a house for me in Ekiti.
Yes.
No, there are 2 she built. One was in Ado Ekiti. The second one was, I can't remember where the second house was.
The Okera Ogba house.
Okay.
Was it okay
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
He now also said that her husband is her problem.
Yes.
That she needs to let her husband leave, and then her 2 kids, I think 2 boys and a girl or something like that.
3 kids.
Three
yeah.
kids, right? Had to go for spiritual cleansing. So he also gave those ones concussions. Her son ran mad.
Ha!
But later, he now took the son to Ado Ekiti to heal the son. Now, he said he has to heal the son in a house. So she built a house within 3 months for him in Ado Ekiti.
There's
And
also
he took 7
an
years.
SUV.
Yes,
in
Highlander.
the matter, and there's a
Lexus.
Yes, and there's a 70 million naira.
That
You
she has
know,
given.
in all of the time that she had been seeing him, he had.
I'm wondering
duped
how
her.
a literate human being that can think, has a brain, could fall for one person. I don't get it. Why do we do this in the name of spirituality? That we just forget we have a
May I
brain.
answer you?
The worst part, sorry,
Go
I
ahead,
just wanted
Wage.
to continue the story. The worst part of it was that it was the husband that was her enemy, that every time she drove the husband, or the husband went out, he now came
Into the house.
to stay
In the house.
with them
In the
in the house with her.
There is
and the
jazz
children.
involved in
Was
this
that-
matter.
Let me tell you what it is. It's sorcery. Now, when you're looking for answers, she had been bleeding for 14 years.
Right.
The bleeding stopped for 2 weeks. Of course, she's going to believe the
Anything
guy.
the person
Is the
says.
way I give you, I sample you with my tea, and your whatever your ailment is
Right.
just disappears.
Let's move
You're
on.
going to believe that that's the solution.
I just want to say, I don't really believe in the sorcery. You see, that concoction that he gave the child, when they give them these concoctions are laced with different
Herbs.
Yeah. We have
things
to
that,
move on.
what do you call them? That make you
Hallucinate.
hallucinate as
Hallucinogen.
Thank you.
Can we go on? Moving on to The Nation. Buhari's health, Akonde warns against confusion. $43.4 million, NIA may sell apartment. MTN sacked 200 workers, 80 contract staff members. So which story are we picking up there?
I wanted to take the Akonde. Okay, let's take the. But Mariah, tell us the
MTN actually
story.
sacked about 200 staff. They actually they sacked the staff that had stayed with them for a long time, from 14 years to 10 years. That they said they want new fresh blood, and they give them 75% of their gross monthly multiplied by how many of years they've stayed there. So somewhere with 15 million, somewhere with less than 5 million, just to say thank you for your services with us. But they're looking for new fresh blood. So if you're looking for a job, hopefully MTN should be hiring soon.
I want just quick
Maybe
advice
they
to
will
those
not
that have
sponsor
lost their
collaboration.
job. They have money. Please, they should
Invest.
invest it wisely, because you don't want to filter it away and then you're just
Yeah.
waiting. Nothing
Right.
is coming in.
Moving on to
Find
Vanguard.
a good business you can do. Ask me about it.
Saraki, Dogara, others harassed out of May Day rally. Security vote, biggest source of waste. Peter Obi said that at
I
the
have that
platform.
story.
NIA, don't leak national secrets, Anyaku warns. And I wept over Buhari's health, says BC Akonde. All right.
Okay, I wanted to take the Bishop on this.
Okay, go ahead.
Peter Obi, we will
go.
reach it.
Yeah.
So he was talking.
Bisi Akonde.
Chief Bisi Akonde, an APC chieftain, was saying that Upper Saturday he did not see President Buhari at his adopted
grandson's wedding, yeah.
And that it made him weep. That the last time he saw him at an adopted daughter's wedding was that in December, or yes, in December. That he said to him that you're looking frail. You know, that's, you know, I'm worried about your looks. So
Buhari replied him and said, it's because of the problem of Nigeria, the corruption.
So now we have senior advocates of Nigeria like Femi Falana, Debo Adeniro, Jibrin Ibrahim, and other activists are saying to the president that he should actually leave and go and take care of his health. Bisi Akonde was saying in the article that when the president is ill, it affects the health of the nation. Exactly. So Nigerians should pray for the president.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty important.
Peter Obi.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, he also mentioned very quickly that the issues we're having right now is the president's illness, and the fact that the executive and the National Assembly are not getting along together. That can actually bring us down as a company, can pull down the policy. So Peter Obi was saying,
tell us a story.
No, he was just saying that there's nothing like security votes in the Constitution. That it's just total complete waste.
That any governor that says that there is security votes, that they should come and meet him, that it's a lie. Yeah. That they just put that together to cover up what they do. That we, the citizens, should be asking the governors, past governors especially, to come and account for how they spent their security votes.
Yes, and what is in the Constitution actually is contingency funds. And they should actually give us a breakdown of how they spent these things. So
and I heard about it when I heard him that the idea is that some things might happen that you did not, that you didn't plan for, not in the budget, but you need to do it.
That's 30% of the expenditure.
Exactly.
He says it's 30% of the expenditure. Anyways, Peter Obi is really saying the right things these days.
Obi for president.
First of all, he should first make account of how he spent his own.
That one is easy. Go and go. You put it online.
He should make account. It's good. It's easy to walk the walk. When it's done, to talk the talk, walk the walk.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
Moving on to Daily Sun very quickly. Mr. President, take a break on health grounds. That's those in corridors of power feasting on Buhari's ill health, says Akonde. Presidency should hands off EFCC, ICPC, others, says Atiku. Tributes as thousands grace Adelica's Fidal in Ede. Mayday mayhem, Saraki, Dogara, Ngige, Oshomole sneak out of rally ground as workers go wild. And how we made bombs, other weapons, refineries for Biafra. That was an interesting story. If you want to learn about the Biafra war, this gentleman, I think it was Oragwa. He was one of the people, the scientists that actually made the bombs. It was an interesting story. You should read it. Yes, tell us about...
Yesterday was May Day, and as usual, they gathered at Eagle Square in Abuja to mark the day. We had the Senate President and Adams Oshomole. And there was a controversy because, as usual, the workers were clamoring for increase in their salary, that how come it hasn't been implemented, and they were trying to pacify them. It didn't work. Some of them jumped on the stage and it became a fiasco. They were able to push Dogara and Saraki were able to escape, but predominantly
and ex-governor Oshomole was trying to calm the crowd.
It didn't
as
work.
a former NLC.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
And what
they want what they want.
The permanent secretary went to read Ngige's speech, and because he was reading the president's speech, he asked his permanent secretary to go and read his speech. When they say, let the permanent secretary, let the minister come and
read himself.
Say no, because he's reading. They drove her off the stage. He now came. They drove him too. He's the president and the vice president
that we want to see. Meanwhile, the vice president was at the platform. So should he have prioritized? I
think he should have prioritized the official.
But I think it was important for, is it the platform?
Pacify them. It didn't work. Some of them jumped on the stage and it became a fiasco. They were able to push Dogara and Saraki were able to escape, but predominantly.
And ex-governor Oshomole was trying to calm the crowd.
It didn't
as
work.
a former NLC.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
And what
they want what they want.
The permanent secretary went to read Ngige's speech, and because he was reading the president's speech, he asked his permanent secretary to go and read his speech.
Yeah.
When they say, let the permanent secretary,
let the
minister come and
read himself.
Say no, because he's reading. They drove her off the stage. He now came. They drove him too. He's the president and the vice president.
That we want to see. Meanwhile, the vice president was at the platform.
Yeah.
So should he have prioritized?
I think he should have prioritized the official.
But I think it was important for. Is it the platform? What he said at the platform was important to let us keep us up to date.
Could he have said it at the May Day rally?
You know, I think so too.
Yes.
Well, I think so too.
It could have.
Since he's supposed to represent the president.
At the platform, all the big men with their big
No,
suits.
they're not big men there. They're just Nigerian youth. Did you watch it?
I watched it.
Yes.
Nigerian youth.
I watched it.
Nigerian youth were there to listen to
Minister
their leaders.
of Finance was there.
But I think on May Day,
they were speakers.
The most
they are
important
telling us
people.
what they are doing.
I say all the big men were there.
The most important people on May Day are the workers.
Okay.
So.
All right,
it's a workers' day.
Right. Okay.
True,
well, point. That's an interesting point. Let's take a break now. When we come back, what's hot? The booming rise of marijuana business in Lagos, and later managing asthma attacks. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Yesterday, obviously, was May Day, and there were a lot of speeches going around. The presidency trying to let the people know what they're doing concerning issues of economy, the politics going on, even for 2019. We had the speech at the platform from, I think, various speakers. We had Peter Obi, we had the vice president, we had Adeosho, we had a few other people. I think there was a gentleman, I can't remember the names, but I have the names. What are your thoughts? Did you watch that story? Did you watch the live show? For those of you that didn't watch, you can actually catch it online. But what are your thoughts, especially because it was May Day and they expected some of these leaders to appear at the Eagle Square to address the workers, because they are the ones actually celebrating or being celebrated for May Day. So what are your thoughts on that?
At first thought, I was saying, I'm loving Vice President Osinbajo because he made sense in the video that I watched. But thinking about it now, if I work for the presidency or for the government, I would have wanted to see the vice president representing. We all know that the president is unavoidably absent for now.
Ill.
I would have wanted to see the vice president represent the president at that rally. So all the sense that he was making for maybe 1,000 or 2,000 youth, you know.
Millions watched online.
You know, he could have been making that more sense, talking to thousands of workers, because it's May Day, you know.
I don't think he couldn't have done both of them. I feel that they were both events were in Abuja, so he could have actually attended the rally.
Was Baton in Abuja?
Yes, it's in Abuja now. He could have attended the rally, spoken to the people representing the workers, that are the ones that fuel the government, they are the ones that run the system. He could have addressed them and then still go to the platform and give his speech. However, I think that we must respect the Nigerian workers. They work under the most uncomfortable conditions, you know, because these are people that sometimes salaries are not paid. They have expenses. Inflation has made their salary nothing. And we're supposed to celebrate them. Then you have the drama that took place where one permanent secretary is speaking for minister is speaking for president. I feel that we owe these people a whole lot more and we don't respect them as much as we could.
Thanks for bringing out that point, because one of the prevalent things that happens during May Day is where all the governors come out and make their speeches. Your state governor said his own, Lagos State saying, oh, we appreciate your work, continue, we're working hard. And it all sounds like rhetoric. You know, people just get tired of the same old. And I think that was why the platform, the speeches for me made a whole lot of sense. To have an idea where our government is heading. For those of you that listen to the speeches, what are your thoughts on that? Did you think it made sense? Did you hear any of the speeches?
I actually listened to part of Osinbajo's, the vice president's speech. He's an orator. You have to give it to him.
Right.
He's an orator. Now, being an orator, if he had carried his oration to Eagle Square, he may have been able to calm down
the May Day.
those workers. Because, I mean, I don't like listening to government people.
What if they actually protested? What if they didn't allow him? What if they start throwing stones? You know how these workers can get?
I think
but you don't have a choice.
What if?
Right.
But listen to what I said. I said, being an orator,
Right.
he may have, I mean, he would have started with the kind of jokes he started about then talking about the whistleblower.
Right.
You know, it was fun. And then he now started the serious.
Right.
And they may have listened. Now, you have Saraki there, who is earning millions. Senate president. Dogara, millions. House of Reps president. Yes. Then you have minister, only I don't know how much he is earning. Now they are there earning 18K.
No, some of them, 18K is the minimum.
Minimum
She's
wage.
talking
Some
about
of them
minimum
now. I don't know what maximum is. I only know minimum. Because when they talk, they don't talk about maximum. They talk about minimum.
Right.
So 18K. A lot of them there are earning 18K. And they're asking for 56K.
Yes.
Now, you, President Saraki, Senate, you didn't reduce
your
own salary. You now
in.
came to come and sit down and stretch your chest. At least Oshibajo reduced his own salary when he got there.
Yes.
Right.
I said there are some allowances he will not collect. You have not made any, we have not heard that you have made any sacrifices. And then you're coming to come and sit down. And are you basking in their poverty?
Right.
In response to you saying that the things that Vice President Oshibajo said at the platform, that did it make more sense saying at the platform? I was going to say that a lot of us, for instance, we go to church heavy-hearted, but it is what your pastor says to you. It's not, the pastor doesn't give you money or solves your marriage problem, but the way he speaks to you will calm you down. So all of us are workers, including the vice president. They're supposed to be serving, right? The conditions in which the Nigerian worker is working today, they're not conducive. So if the vice president comes and talks to them, this is what we're doing. We know that your 18,000 does not take you home. We know. And then you now start to tell them about the problems. Oh, crude oil, vandalization. Inflation. And then you now move on to solutions that you're preferring. I have been in the Niger Delta. We're speaking to them. Our income is improving. In the last 3 months, you'll notice that our our foreign reserve is increasing. We will be able to increase your salary in 3 months or in 6 months. And then all the monies that were, just speak to them and give them hope.
In quick defense of our vice president, I do not think that from the person of the vice president, he would not take the workers seriously. I think that there must have been a plan to say, I'm already staying here. Let the minister speak here. But what was the minister prepared to say? Do you understand? There was nothing the minister from saying, I have given the speech of the president, let me now say what I want to say. Because I want to talk to people I am representing. He is the minister for labor. So there was no need for him to say, because he's giving the speech for president, somebody else should give his speech for him. Because we want to listen to him.
I disagree with you. We did not vote the minister. We voted the president and his running mates. Those are the people that I want to see. So if he has any plan and he takes the workers serious, it should give them priority. It's the number two worker, innit?
No, right now, because he's even number one right now, because we haven't seen the president for about 3 weeks. So he's the one that we are looking at as the representative. I was going to say something. Because during his speech, he said something about coconut oil, how valuable coconut oil is.
If you want to make money right now.
If you want to make money, you know, if he had gone and told the workers, you know, the way he spoke, he wasn't even like reading. He was speaking. And I'm telling you, the workers would have appreciated him more than Ngige with his speech, which he didn't get to read it. What happened was that they just chased him out, and then he now gave his speech to journalists to print.
Can we talk about what happened at platform? Apart from
one of the issues I have is workers, because yes, they're demanding for 56,000 naira per month, and there was a response. I'm not sure who told them that it's not realistic. Now, I hear what Jumoke is saying. Your approach to those workers, there's a way you speak to them that they know that you care about them.
Yes, sir.
But sometimes does it seem as though our workers don't they're so consumed in the issues that it's like they're not interested. They don't have an open mind.
No,
so they don't have enough open mind to hear where we are and where we're going. Because
I've been
like
complaining here.
I've
been complaining here that Nigerians are willing to suffer if we can see the president willing to suffer with us. If we can see the Senate suffering with us. We now notice that even while the Senate president came into power, he still bought a luxury car. And there's even controversy concerning that he escaped paying the necessary
that's an allegation. He
duty.
denied it.
He denied it.
I said that they said.
But he was collecting pension as ex-governor.
Okay, let me take this call.
So we need to see.
Bob Marley's son. A hungry man is an angry man. You haven't heard that one.
Let me take this call. Larry, why are you there?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
I just want to say that it's not easy. The vice president is not acting for the president at the moment. It is who the president delegates. Protocol demands that the president delegates somebody to represent him. And that is what he has done. He delegated, I think what happened was that the president delegated the Minister of Labour to represent him. So Osinbajo is just the vice president right now. He's not the acting president.
Right.
He said that the president hasn't seconded to the VP. That's what he's saying. That. So the idea is the president is still in charge of the country, whether we see him or not. So who did he ask to represent him?
Anytime I ask about with vacuum, that where is our president, people say, but he has a VP. That's the
but he hasn't handed over to the VP.
So if he has not handed over to the VP, there's
a
problem.
Vacuum.
There is a vacuum.
He doesn't need to hand over because he's probably still
approving
things from wherever he's working from.
I did not vote Minister Ngige. So if the president is going to hand over to someone to talk on his behalf, as much as Ngige is Minister of Labour, the VP is talking at a private event. I'm going to feel offended.
No, the private worker. No, you can actually watch the speech and hear from the president.
But I want to talk about.
But I get your point. You made your point.
Back to the statement about workers being unrealistic in their demand. I think that every Nigerian right now, your salary hasn't changed in the past 2 years. You are in trouble. Every Nigerian, because there's the income is comparing what you can buy with what you earn is totally different. Right. So the issue they're clamoring for should not be seen as, oh, it's not realistic. It must be made to be realistic, and you must cut whatever you need to cut to make it affordable.
The last time I bought a bag of rice, it was 22k. The last time I bought a bag of gari, it was like 16k from 4k
before. So how will salary take that?
Let me take this call from Kaduna. Morning, are you there?
Good morning.
Thanks for calling, Tom.
President, for delegating the minister to represent him is a very, very wrong idea. The vice president cannot be there. Why such a huge event that then he will delegate just a minister?
Minister is not just.
Osinbajo is a speaker. Osinbajo is supposed to represent him. Why should a common minister to go and represent him?
It's not a common minister. Is not common.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tom. Common minister is not common. We have to
Madam Siola Oluwa says, respect aside, I beg, who did the past speeches help? Governors keep making promises they never fulfill.
All right, we have to round up there. Let's leave it there. Let's take a break now. When we come back, it's World Asthma Day. We're going to discuss managing asthma attacks. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. The prevalence of asthma in our society is rising, and there is need for better understanding of the asthma patients, perception, treatment, practice of doctors. Joining us is a medical practitioner, Dr. Labake Okunobi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you again.
You can call us on 070-80668014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, we've talked about asthma before. It's not the first time we're talking about asthma, but there are people out there who know of asthma but don't understand what causes asthma. So could you just go back to the basics? How do you know you have asthma?
Okay. Yes, I think of course, like we said, asthma is a respiratory disease. And the difference between asthma and something like cough or any other respiratory disease is that asthma is chronic. So basically means that most people that are sufferers, sadly, tend to live with it for the rest of their lives. Okay, so that's the difference with asthma compared to other respiratory diseases. Now, asthma can either be genetic. Okay, that's basically that you can acquire these genes from your parents. Okay, people acquire this disease that predisposes them to what we call atopy, hyperresponsiveness, and its likes. And you have, of course, the environmental factors that also play a very important role in that. Basically, smoking, air pollution in every forms. Okay, of course, dust and all of that, dust mites, biomass fuels, and basically animal danders. Okay, so basically, apart from the fact that these can be predisposing factors, they are also triggers for asthmatic. Okay, so basically saying that if you're an asthmatic, you're diagnosed with asthma, there's certain things you need to avoid because it's allergen predisposing. So a lot of times, part of the management, apart from the medication part of it, is that you have to avoid these triggers. It's commoner in the male child. As a matter of fact, it's a childhood disease. So you find that most people are diagnosed from childhood. And that's not to say that you don't have those other group of people that may acquire it in adulthood. But you find out that most times, most of these people already have the phenotypes. Yes, he probably was picked or wasn't picked, or whichever way. You know, they find out that a lot of times they usually will have the phenotypes. So for instance, you may have somebody that seems okay, never had these symptoms of asthma, started working, and started working somewhere, maybe in a flour mill or something, and then you may have what you call the occupational asthma, okay? And you find that the person would always tell you that once they are not in that environment, they're fine, okay? So usually you'd have that occurring. And
okay, in cases of children, because a lot of parents are concerned in picking it early. I know I've had a very similar situation where my son almost lost his breath and we had to rush him to the hospital. And initially they said it was tonsils. He had inflamed tonsils. I'm not even sure we had this. I think it actually retracted itself. However, he still, when he sleeps, he still has that congested. I could tell, but we just monitor. I always wake up at night making sure, okay, this guy is still all right. But is that? But the doctor told me it's not asthma. So I'm not worried about that. But as it's growing, now you're saying that it's detected and some people miss it. How do I ensure I don't miss it in this situation?
Now, first of all, I mean, I need to say this clear that asthma is about 15% of cases of asthma are missed or undiagnosed. So it's actually huge. A lot of people are going around with asthma and they don't even know it. Okay, either for so many reasons, the fact that they're not seeking help or they're not just properly diagnosed even in the hospitals. Okay, however, like I said, in children, asthma can be quite difficult to diagnose. And that's because there's a common saying that it's not all the wheeze that is asthma in children. A child may just have ordinary common, what you call common cold, respiratory tract infection. Yes, normal. I'm telling you, a child may have respiratory tract infection and have what you call wheeze. Wheeze is one of the symptoms. That's the noisy breathing. Okay, that's what you call the noisy breathing. And then a child may just have common cold and wheeze. Okay. Now, the good news about children under 5 now is that in diagnosing them, they have certain criteria that pediatricians use or doctors that see children use to be able to to help them, criteria to help them that makes it suggestive that, oh, this is asthma. So you have different criteria. You have the major one, you have the minor ones, looking at the what you call allergic dermatitis, where you have rashes and all those things on your skin, eczemas, things like that, family history and all of that.
As you're talking about it, I'm just remembering my daughter because at first she had this cough. She had this cough for about 2 years. I was taking her from pillar to post, and they kept giving her. Eventually, they gave her one antibiotic that actually worked, and the cough went. Now that you're talking, I'm now thinking maybe that was the start of it, and I didn't even realize
because even in children, you have what you call cough variant asthma. So some of them, the only thing they will present with is cough. So sometimes we say that cough may be asthma. So you find people year in, year out, month in, month out, always buying cough syrup.
So how do you find out if it is asthma?
Okay, so, I mean, the different diagnostic tools are, apart from, ideally, asthma is about 95 to 100%, almost 100% clinical diagnosis. So it's from your history, taking a good history from the patient, you know, and like I said, the cough would be recurrent. Most of the symptoms of asthma are usually recurrent, and there's always a predisposing factor. I mean, the person will tell you, when I get near a strong smell, I start coughing. Right. So most of the time, there's an exposure. That's the difference most times.
My daughter was dust. My daughter was dust.
Exactly.
And you see, there was probably dust, especially maybe during her maternity. I didn't realize, but then by the time she got to about 8, 9,
yes.
When I took her to the hospital, they said asthma. I said, I shall not. I was even arguing. Exactly. But they gave her inhaler. And then they made her breathe under this ventilator. What do they call it?
It's called a nebulizer. A nebulizer.
Yeah, that is the thing. I was scared.
So people, I used to be in that phase where I feel like maybe I was asthmatic. Even some doctors said that maybe you're asthmatic because I have those predisposing dust, perfume, smoke, and then I start choking and all that. But I've never been diagnosed properly for asthma, and neither was I ever given an inhaler. So, but I know once there's dust somewhere, I go AY. If I'm exposed to smoke, I go AY. So other people like me who probably don't have asthma, but they're like, it's as if you have asthma, and that's from a doctor.
Okay, now, so basically, ideally, what the doctor should have done to give almost a confirmative diagnosis is send you to do what you call a spirometry. Okay, that's like a diagnostic tool in making a diagnosis of asthma. Like I said, you know, because the symptoms are quite variant. There's so many things that can go on in that airway. And also, if you find out that if you were to have those symptoms, if they give you what you refer to as the reliever medications, because if you go to the management of asthma, apart from, you know, triggers exposure, avoidance that we've talked about, you also have the medication where you have the controller medications and the reliever medications, okay? So when you have the symptom like that, you're supposed to be on what you call the reliever medication, which everybody calls the inhaler, okay? The reliever medication is what, you find out that if you were to take the reliever medication, you may actually find that you're doing well.
Okay, let's talk about people who have been diagnosed with asthma and they're managing it and they're using this reliever. Now, are there situations where they have a crisis and they're rushed to the hospital? And one of the issues they have is that, oh, they just choose not to use their inhaler because they feel this kind of is embarrassing in the office. They want people to think as though that there's this stigma around people who carry inhalers. And because you wonder, okay, you're asthmatic. What's your problem? Why didn't you just use your inhaler? You should be responsible. But somehow they choose not to. Have you ever come across patients like that?
And to just add to that, yes. Sometimes they use the inhaler and they still get the attack. Is that possible?
Okay. So I think I'll first take it from the point of the medications, and then we'll go into stigmatization of asthma, because that is actually major. Okay. We actually underestimate how these asthmatics actually do feel. Now, looking at the medication, you have the controller and the reliever. Now, the controller does what I've just said, controls your asthma. So that means you take it whether you have an attack or not. So you take it just like when you have you're hypertensive. Hypertensive patients take their medications every day. And that's what you will talk about when you say controller medication in asthma. So you take it morning and at night, whether you have an attack or not. You don't need to go around with your controller medications. Now, the reliever does exactly what it says, relieves. So you only use that when you have an attack. And the good news is that studies have shown that, so many studies all over the place have shown that when you are on your controller medication, you rarely would have an attack. Your attack would be controlled.
So you will prevent
attacks
and you will
anyway.
not need the reliever.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, if you have somebody taking a reliever medication on a daily basis, then that person needs a controller medication. So you need to take the controller. The only thing you need to take around would be your reliever. And you find out that the common stories for people that are controlled would be, I keep buying this reliever and I don't need it. I'm okay. I'm a doctor. I don't need to take my reliever. But you always still have to counsel them on the need to always carry their reliever wherever they are, regardless of whether, in case of the trigger, or even new triggers. People may get exposed to new triggers. Okay. Now, going to the case of stigmatization, like I said, that asthma is a childhood disease. So it's not uncommon sometimes when, you know, you make a diagnosis of asthma in a child and the mother says, oh, God forbid, my child doesn't have it, or it's not my portion, I mean, and all of those things. And, you know, particularly when you tell them that, oh, you need to start using inhalers, people think inhalers are death sentence. That means, my case is very bad, you know. But the truth about it is that asthma is chronic. If you have asthma, you can, I mean, you have so many celebrities. David Beckham actually is asthmatic. And look at, he's at the top of his career. Okay, so you have so many people, so many even Nigerian celebrities that are, you know, they're doing well, successful men, and they're managing it and they're living their lives. Okay, I mean, you find sometimes you may be a doctor. I have a colleague that is asthmatic, and she said once she made a diagnosis of asthma in a child, and the mother said, no, God forbid. And she said, hold on, madam. She brought her inhaler and said, I'm a doctor and I'm asthmatic. And the mother said, hey, okay, really? You know?
All right, let's pause for a second. Yeah. And we come back, we'll continue this conversation on stigma, because, as I said, now we know how asthma is caused and how it's diagnosed, but we want to help those who are currently asthmatic and how they should ensure they can be safe, right? Yeah. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. Jubake had a question, yes?
Yeah, I don't want to move us away from stigmatization, but I was going to add to Tokwe's question, because I'm not sure what it is that I have. Yeah. When I'm exposed to dust, I come out in hives. How do you differentiate asthma from allergy to dust?
Okay, that's a very good one, because the truth is that's actually quite interrelated. Remember, we've talked about asthma actually being a lot as a result of allergy exposure, allergen exposures. Now, there's also what you call allergic rhinitis. Now, your symptoms, does it come with? It depends on. I mean, except we're going to be having a what's it called now? Clerking, you know, basically getting history from you. But you want to find out more about what kind of symptoms you're having. Now, there's something called allergic rhinitis, which a lot of people also misquote as being common cold or catarrh. You know, now allergic rhinitis, you find a patient where they're exposed to dust most times. The common one is dust, and then they sneeze in bouts.
That's me.
I mean, when I'm talking about sneezing in bouts, it's
continuous,
like 20 times, bout and violent. Okay, and that's usually like loud. Right. That's what I mean by violent. Okay, like really loud, and you know you can't miss it. And you find that most people that have allergic rhinitis usually would develop asthma.
Right.
So
that's it in Jesus' name.
That's the problem.
No, that's the stigma. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, 70 million.
Let me let you finish, but I want to take this call from Patrick. He's been holding for a while. Patrick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Please go ahead.
I'm actually a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I just want to ask the doctor a direct question. I have an uncle who is asthmatic. In fact, I lost one of them sometime last 2 years. And this very one now, he has always been on inhaler, which she calls the controlling whatever.
No, relief.
Reliever, yeah.
That's the blue inhaler?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, but doctor, you mentioned something that really struck a chord right now, which is the controlling
tablet
medication. Inhalers. Is inhaler as well. Okay. The controller.
Okay. So how? Because from what you just said now, I am just thinking that if one could actually get that for him, there won't be need for him to always carry
the reliever. Absolutely.
The inhaler about. Okay. You understand? So, and there was a day we were together, and one day the man almost died while matching for the inhaler.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Those are two questions in one. Number one, can we get the controller over the counter, or does it have to be prescribed?
He has to be prescribed.
So your doctor?
He needs to see the doctor. Okay. Hopefully the doctor is also educated about the controller. Right. So the doctor would prescribe the controller. Okay. And
what's the difference? Are they both sprays?
No, they're inhalers. Okay, they come in different forms. You have what you call the dry powder. Usually the controller comes in dry powder or also in aerosol. The spray one is the aerosol, okay? The blue one, which everybody knows very well, okay, that's the reliever. It comes in aerosol. But the controller usually will come in the dry powder or the aerosol.
Now, the second question I wanted to ask from what he's saying is that what's the first aid for asthma? When somebody has an attack, and you as an onlooker or a bystander, what do you do to help the person at least before you get them to the hospital?
The first thing is to ensure that you move the person, if possible, away from where they are, particularly because you know that whatever would have happened triggered it. So if, for instance, it started here, you want to move them away, try to loosen them up and get them a reliever medication as soon as possible, even before moving them to the hospital. Get the reliever medication, administer it.
So that means reliever medication should be in safe
first aid boxes.
It should be in first aid boxes. As a matter of fact, I'm also trying to do something with school health, where you ensure that most schools would have the reliever medication.
Can I just take these two tweets, because NFL says, sometimes I have difficulty in breathing. Is this related to asthma? My grandfather has asthma, but my dad didn't. And then Adebayo Adigun says, can asthma be caused by intake of some food? I just wanted you to answer those two.
Okay, yeah, the first one, it may be asthma, the fact that there's a family history of it. The father may have had it and maybe he wasn't even diagnosed, okay? So I would advise such a person to actually see a doctor and get properly diagnosed. Now, the second one about saying certain food can cause, it wouldn't be causing. It would be certain food can trigger. Okay, so you can have people that are asthmatic, they don't take nuts, they don't take, there's so many things they don't take. Some of them do not even know that it's in what they're eating. So it's not uncommon you find someone that is, that is probably even controlled, but will tell you that I'm taking my medications correctly. Of course, inhaler use is also another important part, ensuring that you know how to use the inhaler correctly. Because there's so many people that don't use their inhaler correctly. That's a story for another day, okay? So in ensuring that, I mean, they may eat something and find out that, they eat, every time I eat this food, I have an attack. So that may be a trigger for them.
There are two questions, but Global Health says, my elder brother had asthma as a child, and my mom's second home then was Eku Baptist Hospital. He doesn't have asthma anymore. So is there a cure for asthma? But there are two quick questions. Afolabi Oluwashun says, Doctor, I do have catarrh once I perceive dust, smoke, perfume, or frying in the kitchen. What can you make of this? Ayomi says, great insight on the show. Quick question. I'm asthmatic, but I don't use inhalers. I use medicines. What's your take on this?
Okay. And this last one, inhalers can destroy fertility due to the
corticosteroids.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I think I'll start with that very one, because that's very important. Now, there are no studies to support or to back the fact that controller medications, because they contain steroids, can affect either growth of a child or fertility. And that's because the inhalers are used, they're going to be inhaled. So first of all, you're using them directly to where it is needed. And this steroid are actually they're in micrograms, so they're very low dose. Okay, so I mean, you don't even get it into your system circulation as much as possible. You get what I mean? So it's actually safe, to use them in children and in adults, and you don't have any fears of having any fertility issues because of the steroid content. Now, the second and one of the questions you said
that he doesn't use his drugs.
Yeah, so he's talking about medication. Now, I want to believe the medication he's talking about is oral medications. Yes, when he says, most people refer to as oral, but there's so many guidelines have been published, and to prove that inhalers are actually the best form of medication. And we just talked about it because of where the lungs is. When you inhale the medication, it works faster. So for instance, if I were to have an asthma attack now, and I use my inhalers is going to work in less than 5 minutes. In less than 5 minutes, I'll get relief. But if I were to use the oral medication, it may take me about 30 minutes. So I probably may be dead before it works. So inhalers are better.
Then two last questions. One is about cure. Her brother doesn't have it anymore, and this person who has cough every time they
fry something.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll also talk about the one of the brother. Now, there are two things that could have happened with the brother. So it was either it wasn't asthma the child had, or the child went into what you call clinical remission. So it's not uncommon that someone that had asthma as childhood, even properly diagnosed, after a while stops having an attack or stop having the symptoms.
That's a miracle. Holy Spirit's
but guess what happens? Sometimes the child, this adult will just get married and then start stress triggers or whatever, and then starts having an attack again, and the man will say, oh, is this woman that I just married, or this woman's family, or may even start working in an oil company.
So maybe someone who is asthmatic, who was a virgin, and then starts having sex, maybe.
Which one are you talking about?
Stop the
Are we running out to sign out?
Please,
on the final
realistic question.
On the final
question that she asked.
Frying.
Smoke and frying.
Now, so if that person is coughing as a result of that and is always recurrent, remember when you talk about symptoms of asthma, it has to be recurrent. Then this person may need to get evaluated. Yeah, it may just be asthma.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I think we learned quite a bit today. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
That's all we can take on the show. Thanks for joining us. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Waiki.